Please move forward and sit close to each other. Jazakumullah khair. Please make an effort to sit close to each other. It's really hot outside, the masjid is almost full. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Every nation has its festival, and this is your festival. Rasulullah ﷺ made the statement when the Messenger of Allah ﷺ came to Medina, and the people had 2 days when they would play and have fun. These were the 2 days that they had appointed for themselves, for whatever reasons, which is not mentioned in this hadith, that they used to make games. They would collect together all the people of the town, and they would play games and they would have fun. So Prophet ﷺ, he inquired. He said, "What are these 2 days?" And then they said, "We used to play and have fun on these days during the Jahiliyyah." So the Messenger of ﷺ, he said, "Allah has given you something better than them, the day of Adha and the day of Al-Fitr." So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he mentioned every nation has its festival, and this is your festival about the Eid of Eid al-Adha or Eid al-Fitr. These 2 days are the festivals for Muslims. And what is a festival? As we know that festivals, they don't take place every day. Like we have a yearly festival in some places. Some places we have a festival that comes once in a lifetime. Like we're going to have the Dubai 2020, like they call it. I think it's some kind of an expo. And there are many different kinds of festivals that in Jahiliyyah, even the Sahaba and some of the Kuffar and Mushrikeen, they have for the worldly purposes. For the worldly purposes, celebrating the accession of a king, or having some kind of a sales festival and things like that. But Allah Azza wa Jal, as Prophet ﷺ has told us, He has given us 2 days that are better than any of the festivals. Because these are the days that we commemorate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal. These are two of the best days that Allah Azza wa Jal has given to the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But before these days, before I come to the etiquette of these days, and this is what the topic of the khutbah will deal with, some of the etiquette that we should follow during the days of Eid. And before that, I will discuss with you the etiquette of giving something that is compulsory on each and every Muslim. And some of the scholars, they have discussed even about the fetus which is in the womb of a mother. Subhanallah. Because Prophet ﷺ has made it compulsory on each and every Muslim. And what is this? The salah is not compulsory on children till they become baligh, they attain the age of puberty. The fasting is not compulsory. The 5 pillars of Islam, they're not compulsory on anyone until he's sane or he's achieved puberty. But this is one thing that Prophet ﷺ said is compulsory on each and every Muslim, even the children of the house. The ladies, the men, the kids, the children. And the scholars have, a difference of opinion on the fetus, but the overwhelmingly, the most stronger opinion is that this thing is not compulsory on the fetus, that unborn baby. It is not. And this is nothing but Zakaat al-Fitr. Zakaat al-Fitr, which is compulsory to be given from a Muslim family to other Muslims who are not privileged enough or who are not fortunate enough to have a little less than themselves. So this Zakaat al-Fitr, I'm going to discuss very quickly since the khutbah is the time given for the khutbah is short and I need to discuss many things. So I'm going to discuss the most important things about Zakaat al-Fitr. So Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu, he said that at the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we used to give 1 sa of food, or 1 sa of dates, or 1 sa of barley, or 1 sa of raisins. And in the hadith of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, it mentioned that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he ordered to give 1 sa of dates or 1 sa of barley. Barley or wheat, you know, the bread that you make with, it's ground, and the powder, the flour is made out of it, and then we make the bread from it. That is the barley or wheat. So, what is this 1 sa that was ordered to give to Muslims? And this was compulsory, as some of the scholars have interpreted, that the food mentioned in this hadith, at the time of Rasulullah, we were supposed to give 1 sa of food. This ta'am that is mentioned in this hadith, it could mean wheat, or it could mean dates, or it could mean any of the staple foods that are used in any particular place, country, or a place where you're staying in. In this land, for example, rice is staple food. So we can give 1 sa of rice. And this is the correct view, because zakat is the help from the rich to the poor. And the Muslim does not have to help with anything else other than what is staple food. So you don't have to go in extremes in buying some other, expensive foods or food items. You have to give the staple food. And this, as Prophet ﷺ has mentioned, is the responsibility. It is to be given from each and every individual in the household. So if you have 5 people under your care, husband and wife and 3 children, or husband and wife and father, mother and 3 children, so that makes it 7. So if you're 7 individuals, you have to calculate 1 sa for each individual of the house. And rice is enough, inshallah, as most of the scholars have agreed upon this. That in these lands where rice is a staple food, is eaten very commonly in lunchtime and dinner. And most of the countries, I think in the Muslim countries, rice is very staple. It's eaten more than any other food. So that can be considered as staple food. So this 1 sa, at the time of Rasulullah used to be 2 handfuls of grain, or 2 handfuls of dates or raisins, or wheat, as it's mentioned in the hadith. And this is volume of the food. It's not by weight that was calculated in the time of Rasulullah. So how many handfuls? You put 2 handfuls one time, okay, and you put it. You take it out that much. And you do it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that will become 1 sa of food. And this, according to the scholars, they have calculated, some of them said 2.1 or 2.2 kilograms, and some of them have said it's around 3 kilos. And why was this difference between 2.1, 2.2 and 3 kilos and anything between that? Because it was not something that was calculated in weight in the time of Rasulullah. Some of the grains are heavier than the others. Dates, for example, could be heavier than rice. Raisins will have a different weight than barley. So this is why the volume is considered to be given away instead of giving in weight. But the unanimous decision of the scholars is, since we don't go out in the markets nowadays, in the supermarkets, and pick up stuff with our hands, these 2 full handfuls, and we don't weigh and we don't measure things like this, is given in this way. Okay, so it was given in this way, but nowadays we do it according to weight. And when we buy something, we go to the counter and we take it for weight, and then he puts the sticker, at least in this country. Okay, and he weighs it, and then we decide. So we can buy something around 3 kilos. Either it's wheat or flour or rice or dates. 3 kilos. Some people, they like to give oil and butter and these kind of things. It's okay if you want to give this, because these are also used as, for cooking every food. For example, oil and butter or ghee, like they call it in India and the subcontinent. These things are also okay to give. However, there are few things that needs to be kept in mind, that we need to keep in mind. Number one, Zakat al-Fitr, now that we know it is compulsory and obligatory on each and every Muslim, when is the correct time to give Zakat al-Fitr? Can a person give it 3 or 4 days before Eid? Can a person, because some of the people, the other day I went to an iftar khayma, and somebody had put a box over there with a hole in it, and it was written Zakat al-Fitr on it. I was wondering, how are people going to put grain in that little hole? But of course, that was not why it was kept. It was kept so they can collect some money for Zakat al-Fitr. And it was written Zakat al-Fitr. Number one, it is an error to collect Zakat al-Fitr in the form of cash and money. It is the unanimous and majority of the scholars. Some of the scholars may have allowed it in particular conditions that you can give money. But by and large, the majority of the scholars have agreed, as in the time of Rasulullah, just like how Zakatul Mal is given. And this is another distinction that Muslims need to make between the Zakatul Fitr and Zakatul Mal. Why is it called Zakatul Fitr in the first place? Because our Eid is called the Eid al-Fitr. And the Eid al-Fitr is the only Eid for, after which month? The month of Ramadan. After you have fasted the month of Ramadan and the first day of Shawwal, we celebrate the Eid al-Fitr. And before we celebrate the Eid al-Fitr, Prophet ﷺ has said very specifically that a person who gives Zakat al-Fitr after the Eid Salah, after the Salatul Eid, if he goes and donates the Zakat al-Fitr, it will not be counted as Zakat al-Fitr. And you would have missed out on one of your obligatory actions. And it will be counted as a regular charity, sadaqah, a regular sadaqah. Allah will accept it as a charity, a nafil charity, a voluntary charity. But it will not be accepted as the obligatory Zakat al-Fitr, that it was obligatory upon you before the Salatul Eid. And this is another point. Zakat al-Fitr needs to be given before the Salatul Eid. And the scholars have advised the Muslims not to bring their Zakat al-Fitr items in the Eidgah or in the place where you come to pray Eid. Don't bring, because the Eid Salah is about to begin. Before that we can get rid of the Zakat al-Fitr. No, because it will not benefit the people at that time. It will not really, they will not be able to cook for that day unless they take it back home and boil the food, and benefit from it on that day. And it will also, one of the wisdoms, as some of the scholars have mentioned, so people don't come. Zakat al-Fitr is supposed to be given on the 28th night. 28th night. Today is what? The 27th? And last night was the what? 27th night. So the night comes before the day, isn't it? So on the 27th night, mashallah, that's another point I want to make. In the morning, after the Qiyam al-Layl, in the Fajr, the masjid was full till the end. And this is the trend, my brothers. This is the trend in Ramadan. Right in the beginning, in the first day, we have in Fajr time also the masjid full. Then slowly the numbers start dwindling. And we have 4 or 5, 6 rows remaining in the middle of Ramadan. And alhamdulillah, as Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, فَفَرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ, come towards Allah Azza and fighting and pushing and elbowing and getting inside, like it happens during Umrah and Hajj near the Blackstone. May Allah guide our Muslim brothers and sisters. People are fighting and even while throwing the stones, one of the brothers said during Hajj, and one new Muslim, he said that when I saw the Muslims near Kaaba, rushing and fighting, I was wondering what's going on. What are the guards over there? Are they distributing gold? Or are they distributing money? What is going on over here? And they found out that actually they are fighting to touch the black stone, which is not even compulsory. It's not even far. And it's not something that you can get blessings from. And in Ramadan, this is the situation again of the same, fitrah that the people have. They are rushing towards, and Allah has given this as a sign to us, my brothers, for ourselves to realize that how we realize that some good is about to, end. Something great is about to end, and Allah has given us the opportunity to take advantage of that. And we have hardly 2 days left. And Allah Azza wa Jal is about to close the gates of Ramadan. And the gates of hellfire are about to open after Ramadan. And the shayateen are about to be let loose from the chains. And what does the shaitan say? As somebody sent me a picture today on WhatsApp. Shaitan, supposedly, there is some person who is chained up. He's supposed to be the devil. And he's saying that Ramadan, when is the Eid? When is the Eid? The first day of Eid, I'm going to go and make the people watch the movie in the cinema. As soon as he's going to get free, I'm going to make sure, and this is the trend, right? One of the biggest blockbusters of the year is announced on which day of the year? Allahu Akbar. Even the kuffar mushrikeen, they know. The first thing, it's not like as if the shaitan has got free. It looks like the Muslims have got free from some, chains. So they know that this is the time we have to announce this blockbuster so they can earn the maximum amount of money, ticket money and crowds can come and watch these movies. A'udhu billah. And this is the condition of Ramadan, my brothers. Allah Azza wa Jalla has given you a couple of more days, and may Allah give us the life to fulfill the obligation of these 2-3 days, and make us see the next Ramadan and the Ramadan after that, and inshallah for years and years and years to come. But the gates are closing and we need to rush. And this is why Zakat al-Fitr is supposed to be given, as in the time of Rasulullah, it was given in the time of the Sahaba, on the 28th night. On the 28th night was the starting of Zakat, giving the Zakat al-Fitr. Meaning you should not give it on the 27th night, or today on the 27th Ramadan day. You can start giving from tonight, which will be the 28th night, or tomorrow morning, or on the 29th. And these are the 2 best days to give Zakat al-Fitr. And Zakat al-Fitr, my brothers, again I mentioned, should not be given in the form of money. Why? Because in the time of Rasulullah, just like the categories mentioned in the Quran, the 8 categories of Zakat al-Mal, to whom the Zakat al-Mal is supposed to be given, Allah Azza wa Jalla doesn't mention buildings of masjid or buildings of this or for land, property or whatever. He has mentioned human beings in these categories. He's mentioned human beings in these categories. 8 categories of human beings. Allahu Akbar. See how merciful our religion is. Even something that is compulsory, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sent these verses through Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is one of the proofs that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the final messenger of Allah. Because he did not use these for his own benefit, like other kings and rulers did. When they will collect mal from people, first thing it will be is their banks and their palaces and their cars and whatever. that you will see flourishing, and they will have the best of places they will live in. Prophet ﷺ, when he died, may Allah have mercy, may Allah send blessings on him and salawat upon him and his family, and all those who follow him in righteousness till the day of judgment. When he died, he hardly had a few dirhams in his house. He hardly had a few dirhams in his house. And there was one lamp with some oil left in it, and there was one mat in which he used to sleep, and a dirt house made of date palm fronds and dirt and mud and sand. So Zakatul Mal should not be given in the form of money, because in the time of Rasulullah and even Prophet ﷺ, by his own blessed tongue, he has ordered us to give it in the form of food. In the form of food. And there is a wisdom behind this, so that all the people who don't have enough food in their house, they will have food in their house on the day of Eid. Nobody will come out begging on the day of Eid. And all the people will be sufficed with food and drink, inshallah. Even those who cannot afford to give Zakatul Fitr, even those who are not able to give it out, they don't have enough money to go and buy 3 kilos of rice per individual of the family. Allah's Messenger and the Sahaba, and this is how the Sunnah was. They are supposed to give from what they receive. Because if they are so poor, then inshallah there are enough neighbors and enough Muslim friends or enough Muslims in the masjid who know that this person is so poor that he doesn't have enough food to eat and drink for himself. So he will be giving from all those people, that he will receive grains and he will receive the food items. He will give it out from there. And I ask Allah Azza wa Jal that He gives us the opportunity and He gives us the ability to practice this sunnah. Because the money that you will give, my brothers and sisters, first of all, a lot of people who give the money, let's say they're sending out far away to the subcontinent. And when Zakatul Fitr, let's say, is supposed to give it on the 28th and 29th, and you do the transfer on 28th and 29th, some of the money will not be taken advantage of. Some of the money will be just lying in their banks. They'll say, okay, we can use this money some other time. It will not be used in the time of Eid or before Eid. And some people, because of the lack of knowledge, I don't know what it is, some people who collect this money, they use this money for other purposes. Charities and other organizations, which are, maybe they're not even legal. They use it for other purposes, which is not as mentioned in the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we should keep this in mind, and inshallah in the next part of the khutbah I'll quickly go through the etiquette of the Eid prayers, inshallah. Alhamdulillah kafa wa salam ala ibadihi alladhina istafa amma ba'd. As I mentioned in the beginning of the khutbah, that Prophet ﷺ said every nation has its festival and this is your festival. However, inshallah after the khutbah, if you want, I can email you a nice document, a PDF or an article which will explain all the details of the Eid prayers, the benefits of the rulings of the Eid prayers, the benefits of the Eid prayers, the timings, the way it should be prayed, the description, and what is to be recited, how it is supposed to be prayed, and all these things. But right now I don't have enough time to discuss all these things. But so I'm going to touch upon very important aspects, some of the important aspects that we should keep in mind while we are going towards the Eid prayer. Number one, the Eid Salah, according to most of the scholars, majority of the scholars, is compulsory on every Muslim. It is obligatory. It's wajib. And some of the scholars, they say it is not wajib. Okay? Number two, we should keep in mind when we are coming to Eid Salah, especially for the Eid al-Fitr. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he never, according to the hadith, went out of his house before eating something. And he would always take dates before getting out of the house. When he would go out for the Eid al-Fitr Salah, the Salat al-Eid for Ramadan, after Ramadan, he would always take 1, 3 or 5 dates in odd numbers. Why? Because this would mark the end, and one of the wisdoms behind it is that this would mark the end of people fasting. Number 2, it is because he said it is forbidden for people to fast during Eid. Brothers who are coming late, please stay there. Jazakumullah. Don't disturb the people who are here already, who are so early. Jazakumullah khairan. Please stay where you are. If you find a place where you are, sit down with it. And he would eat a few dates and get out of the house. So this would mark the end of Ramadan. And that people are not fasting anymore. In Eid al-Adha, it's the other way around. He would go out without eating, but he would come back from the Eid Salah and eat something. And this is why some of the scholars, they say, you can eat from the udhiyah, from the animal that you have sacrificed. You can cook, or somebody can cook in the house. By the time you come back to the Eid, you can eat from there. But that is not something that is known, that that has to be done. It's something that is the sunnah, we can't do it. However, it is a sunnah that we should eat after the Eid al-Adha prayer. Number 3, we should keep in mind that Prophet ﷺ in one hadith, he urged, and this is a long hadith, there was a discussion also amongst the Sahabiya about this hadith. He urged all the individuals of the house to go out during the Eid prayer, in the place of Eid prayer, in the Eidgah or in the masjid or wherever the Eid prayer is taking place. Inshallah, we will be having the Eid Salah in this masjid as well, and the khutbah will be in English. So he urged each and every individual, except for those who are very small children, or who cannot be taken care of, and they will not be, able to wake up. Maybe they sleep till 8, 9 o'clock, or children, they tend to sleep longer, especially infants. So especially those people, but the others, menstruating women, girls, young boys, men, older women, men, everyone, Prophet ﷺ, he urged them to go out for the Eid Salah. And this is a sunnah that we should keep in mind and should be practiced. And what is meant by menstruating women? There are 2 opinions. Some of the scholars, they said, women who have already achieved puberty and they have started their monthly cycles. This is what is meant by menstruating women. And some of them, they said, even if a woman, she is in her monthly cycle, she is supposed to go out to the Eid, the place of Eid Salah, but she is not supposed to go to the place the exact place where the Salah is taking place. She can stay in the car, she can stay outside the masjid, she can stay, around the place, but she's not supposed to go inside where the Salah is taking place. Okay, this is the opinion of some of the scholars with regards to this. Number 4 or number 5, I've already lost count. The women who are going out. The men who are going out, number 1, they should try to dress in their best clothes. It is narrated that Rasulullah ﷺ used to have a cloak, and he would wear it especially on the 2 Eid prayers, in the time of Eid prayers. And Eid is actually the Eid Salah and the Eid Khutbah for us. Not the rest of the day when we go and have fun, and of course we are supposed to go and make games and play and have family outings. But we have to do it in the boundaries of Islam. Subhanallah, in the narrations mentioned from the time of Tabi'een and Sahaba, it is mentioned that though the men were urged to go out in their best clothes, and keep in mind, my brothers, we should not go in extreme. In order to go out in the best clothes during the Eid day, we should not go in extreme to go 1 day or 2 days before Eid. Now that the Khatib is told, we have to go and get the best clothes, we go fighting in the marketplaces in the night and struggling and paying more amount of money because the prices are also increasing now. The tailors have increased their prices. All the festivals have disappeared, and the discounts, they're just, fixed price now. This is fixed price, halas. We cannot give you more than this, because they know next day is Eid. And this person is so desperate to get his new clothing that he's going to pay the money and buy. No, you should go and look into your wardrobe, if you have one, and see which is your best clothing that you have. If you have a bisht, you wear a bisht and come out. If you have a cloak or a jacket which is very expensive, leather jacket, somebody bought for you, your wife, or the husband bought for the wife, or whatever best abaya, you should wear it. However, the etiquette for the women should be that when they are going to the Eid Salah, for the men, this is how it should be. They should also take a ghusl. Some of the Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu used to take ghusl before every Eid prayer. And some of the scholars, they say, just like it was urged to take ghusl before Jum'ah, it is not compulsory, but it was urged. It was very highly recommended by Prophet ﷺ. Why? Because you shouldn't come in a place of gathering where there are many people, ijtima', where you have other people around you and you're smelling bad. And one person in the middle and 6-7 people around him are being affected because of his smell or odor. And this is one of the things that you should keep in mind. Try to use, my brothers, this is a modern tip, a modern day tip. Try to use a deodorant after taking a shower. Deodorants are not very expensive and they're worth it. And they work very well as perfumes as well. Deodorant. When all the smoke is flying in the air, that kind of deodorant. Try to use a deodorant, because after a while, perhaps you took a shower before the Fajr, and by the time you came to Eid, you were sweating so much that your armpits have started to smell again. And this, I have noticed, some of the people, they have stronger odors than others. When they walk in the room, you have to close your nose, or you have to start putting air freshener. It happens. And this is one of the things even mentioned in the hadith. I'm not bringing this up. Jibreel alayhi salam, he stopped visiting Rasulullah, and Prophet was wondering what happened. Then Jibreel, when he came at a time when some people were not there. And he said that some of your companions are smelling from their armpits. And this is something that is repulsive and keeping us away from coming to you. Allahu Akbar. Even the angels are repulsed by unhygienic practices. So this is one thing that should be kept in mind, cleanliness. And this goes even for the women. However, the women, in the time of the Sahaba and the Tabi'een, Allahu Akbar, my dear sisters, the women would go out in shabby and dirty clothes. Why? Because they're going out in a place where there are so many, hundreds and hundreds of men going to be there. So that they could not become a cause of fitna or attraction to non-mahram men. The women were recommended, and they used to not wear the best and attractive clothes when they would go out to the Eidgah, when they would go out to the Salat al-Eid. And this is the height of taqwa that the Sahabiya and the righteous and pious women, how they used to practice, and they used to act accordingly. When they would not become a cause of fitna, they would not wear the best, most flashy, French abayas like we have nowadays, with lots of embroidery, and some of them they have nowadays glass, some kind of glass, it shines on everybody's faces, and you get blinded by the bling. Allah musta'an. Allah musta'an. This is something which is displeasing to Allah Azza wa Jal, and it is a form of tabarruj, and it is haram for a woman to do that. Especially women who go out wearing makeup on their face, that when even their child looks after the makeup, tries to recognize the mother or the auntie. Is it the same auntie I saw last night? Astaghfirullah. And this is the reality, my brothers. Their makeup, and this is something that Sheikh Nasruddin al-Albani, he made a fatwa regarding this, which is so strong, I would not like to send it to you if you want by email, and you can read it yourself about makeup. So this is something that should be avoided. Prophet ﷺ used to go to the Eidgah from one way, used to take one way, one road or one path, and he used to come back from another path. Okay? And again, the other mistake that people do is come into the Eidgah and they start making salah. They miss their fajr, they miss their sunnahs and nafils, their taraweehs. I don't know what they're praying, but they start praying as soon as they come to the Eidgah. Ramadan is over now. All the salah that you need to make, try to make it now. We have 2-3 nights still remaining, and the gates of hellfire are still closed. You want to give charity, give as much charity as you want now. Try to get rid of your zakat al-mal, your zakat al-fitr, your any kind of charity that you want to do, and save yourself from the hellfire. But don't come on the Eid day and start making salah. There is no salah. According to the hadith of Rasulullah, there is no salah except the salah of Eid during the Eid day, the Eid salah, the Eid gathering. And between the Fajr and the Eid prayer, there is no salah. In any case, the salah is in normal days. There is no salah after Fajr, right? So how come people are coming and making salah in the Eid prayer? And some of the scholars, they said that in the Eid gathering or the Eid khutbah or the Eid salah is in a masjid, not in an open area, then they have allowed to make tahiyatul masjid. They have allowed to make tahiyatul masjid. But if the Eid khutbah is going on, okay, you've already missed the salah, inshallah you can make the 2 quick rakahs and then sit down for the khutbah. The other thing that I would like to mention about the etiquette of Eid is, in the end, the congratulations of Eid. How to congratulate when you have finished the salah, when the salah is over. A lot of people go in another, again like I mentioned before, in extreme to congratulate people. Never on Fridays they will come and start hugging and kissing each other. Or throughout the year they will not see, they will be meeting these every Friday, the brothers and sisters, every Friday in the same masjid. They don't even give salam to each other. But when it comes to Eid, salah, anybody they find left or right, they want to grab and they want to hug them and squeeze them. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah, so much love and affection on the day of Eid. But what happened to this love and affection throughout the year? The proper sunnah is, when Rasulullah he said that it is a haqq. You know what is the meaning of haqq? It is a right of a Muslim on another Muslim. When he gives salam, he should reply to his salam. And when a Muslim, he shakes hands with another Muslim after giving salam, what happens? Prophet ﷺ, he said that they do not part unless all their sins are forgiven. After they have shook hands, all their sins are forgiven because of just shaking hands. And we don't observe this sunnah. Every Jummah we get this opportunity with our brothers and sisters in the masajid. But we don't practice. And when we come to the Eid khutbah, after that, we want to hug them and kiss them, which is not the sunnah. Which is not the sunnah. We want to do something which is not from the sunnah. It is not haram on you to do it, to express your love, especially to the loved ones who are close to you, but it is not from the sunnah. The sunnah of greeting on the day of Eid, after the khutbah, some of the Sahaba, they would say, تَقَبَّلَ اللَّهُ مِنَّا وَمِنْكُمْ. May Allah accept it from us and from you. And they would say salam, they would shake hands, whatever. And even some of the scholars have said, okay, fine, you can say Eid Mubarak. Okay, but don't go in other extremes of sending cards and like the kuffar and mushrikeen, every other thing they make an occasion, they make business out of it. Greeting cards and whatnot in the greeting cards, all kind of different greetings which is not from the sunnah. The sunnah is to say this, or even if you don't say it, you say salam and you greet somebody or meet somebody, it's okay. It is not even compulsory for you to say taqabbal Allahu minna. It is a sunnah. And if anybody says that, you should reply to him. تقبل الله منا منكم. When like somebody says salam, you should say wa alaikum salam. And this inshallah is with what I would like to end the khutbah, which I think I've covered a lot of things, and the time has already passed. People are going to start cursing me like last Friday. Outside, people who are coming late, they're not able to pray on a proper surface as well. Some are praying on the sand, some are praying on the floor, and it's very hot. So I tried to make the salah short, as we would like. I wanted people to benefit and come this Jummah, this Eid, inshallah, which will be after 2 days, 3 days, inshallah, so that we are well prepared. And inshallah, I will send you the whole document after the khutbah, after the salah. And anybody who would like to have this document or this article about all the other etiquettes, you can come and give me your email. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به. واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. عباد الله يرحمكم الله. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما وأقيموا الصلاة.